So what's up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY87 here, aka Grizz, and today we are going to be ranking all of my Glamlite palettes. So I did this a little while ago, so I decided that it was time to do an update since they've come out with so many palettes in 2022. I wanted to, give a little fresh recap here in 2023. So without further ado, let's get into it. I think I have about close to 20 palettes, and mind you, I have decluttered some. So I decluttered, if you all remember my declutter video, I decluttered both the taco ones, I decluttered the burger one, I decluttered the pizza one, and then I think that was it. But I decluttered like 4 Glamlite palettes, and I'm actually going to declutter one that's in this video now, but since I have it in my possession now, I figured I was going to show it to you now. I might declutter both of them, we'll have to see. But without further ado, let's get into it. So on the bottom we have the Glamlite Red Velvet Cupcake. Now I like the color story of this. It's just more of, I feel like they've come up with better formulas and color stories since, but this is like one of my favorite color stories from them, believe it or not, when it came out to their older palettes where they still were like putting food on them and shaping them like food and whatnot. I like the color story of this. The formula is nice. It's just, since they have much better formulas nowadays, it's like this one just isn't comparing. But if they made this color story now with their new formula, it would definitely be higher up. It's just, since they've changed formulas and gotten better over time, I feel like, well, I still feel like they have somewhat hit and misses for me when it comes to certain things, which you'll see because you can see some newer ones lower down that I told y'all throughout 2022 that I wasn't necessarily crazy about, but this one just ended up at the very bottom just because this is the one I reached for the least. But since they do so much fun and colorful stuff, it's hard for me to think of them having something this, for lack of a better term, plain and boring. So that's how it ended up at the bottom, just because color story isn't that great, and I feel like the formula of the other palette that I put just above it is a little bit better, even though color stories are somewhat similar in my opinion. So this is the pie palette. This is the one I was telling y'all I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. I only saved it to compare the formula of this blush to the formula of the strawberry shortcake blush. That's the only reason I kept it, to see if the formulas were going to be the same or not. Matter of fact, let's do that now. I'm pretty sure it's still sitting here, is it? Ah, yes, here it is. So let's see if the formulas feel similar or not. I actually feel like the formula of the one in the pie palette feels better than the one in strawberry shortcake. But then again, it just could because of my skin tone. The strawberry shortcake one that y'all saw in the strawberry shortcake video, way too light and crazy. But back to the palette. Like, I like this color story, but like I said, I feel like this color story is similar to the one I just showed you. It just has like browns and a couple of lighter tones in it, but otherwise I feel like the same. It says the same purplish type thing, the same pinkish reddish shades to it, the same type of tone here. The only difference is like a couple of shimmers are transformative and look more toward the neutralist brown golden orange side, as opposed to the pie palette, as opposed to the Red Velvet Cupcake did. So I feel like the formula this is a little bit better, plus it gave us a blush, and they hadn't given us a blush until the strawberry shortcake now before they gave us this blush. So I was just excited that you got to try something different, because they did highlighters in the palette before, like the donut one I got rid of, but they didn't do blush. So that's what put this one a little bit higher up, honestly, because the formula and the color story of them was about the same. It's just the fact that they added a blush and they had never done that before, which made it a little bit more exciting and fun to me. Next, we have the Hershey Kisses Cookies and Cream palette. If you all remember, I told y'all this was my least favorite one out of all the Hershey's ones. So the other Hershey's too, I'm going to put together because I like them equally. It's just this one I didn't like as much, so that's how I get put further to the bottom. And you think I would love it because it has unique blues in it, and I feel like it's hard to find monochromatics with unique blues in it. Like, I feel like this blue is unique. I feel like this blue is somewhat unique. I feel like this shimmer is in one of the ColourPop palettes, and this one could possibly be in there. But I feel like these two shades were the most unique shades in there. But other than that, it's like it's a monochromatic palette. And how many monochromatic palettes do I already have from ColourPop? I can think of 3 blue monochromatic palettes I already have from ColourPop, and then 2 small blue quads that I have from ColourPop, because I have the sapphire one and then that wait and see one that they came up with for Ulta. So it's like I already have like 5 blue palettes from ColourPop, and the only new thing you're giving me is these 2 shades. And I wasn't crazy about the formula on this, even though this is part of their newer formula. It's just the formula on this particular palette to me wasn't as great as the other ones, or maybe I just like the color story better than those. Like I said, I did only really care about 2 shades in here, so that's why this one is lower down. Next, I have one of the palettes that made them really popular, their rainbow palette. So you should already know I'm talking about the cake palette. I found this at TJ Maxx like a while ago when I was on TikTok. From when I first started the TikTok. I think that was like the first TikTok video I put up. I was like, have anybody else seen Glamlite at TJ Maxx? Because I thought it was fake at first, because they had a scandal a while ago where like they were selling fake Tarte Shape Tape or something. or at least a YouTuber posted it. It could have been just clickbait for all I know, y'all. But anyway, so that's why I asked, and like I got a whole bunch of responses on TikTok. They were like, yeah, they sell it at TJ Maxx. I was like, oh, okay, I'm trying to make sure. But yeah, I really like this palette. This was one of the first Glamlite palettes I was really excited about, because of course it's a rainbow. I guess it's supposed to be all the different rainbow colors for the sprinkles or whatever. I feel like it didn't give as much color as I was hoping. Like I wanted more green in this. Y'all know I wanted more green, blue, and purple in this. I feel like it just gave you a sunset eye and then this blue, green, purple moment over here in the corner with literally just one green. So I'm feeling some type of way about that. But this was a good palette. It's still a good palette. I'm holding on to it for right now. But I'm like, in the future, I'm thinking I might end up getting rid of it if they come out with another fun, colorful rainbow palette. Because, you know, I'm glad they got over all the packaging shaped like food. I mean, they still got a couple more that are. But it's like, I'm glad they calmed down on it. Because I was like, everybody else, I was getting tired of it. I'm like, look here, girl. But girl. Anyway, next we have the Margarita palette. So I broke this collection up again because if y'all remember, I like the other palettes in this collection way better than I like this one. This is just another rainbow palette from the Happy Hour collection, but I don't know, like, I don't know what it is about this color story. It just annoys me. I feel like they tried to make a lighter, funner version of the cake palette, and I just wasn't feeling it. Because I'm like, these tones to me are weird. Again, I feel like they kind of did a sunset-y thing, because it's like you got these nice, warm, sunset-ish colors over here, and then you got like, these minty green shades and then these random pinks. I don't know what it is about this. I know margaritas have a whole bunch of different flavors, and I'm sure that's why it got to be the colorful palette. I just wasn't feeling the vibes of this or this palette. And plus they had done so much rainbow stuff by then till it was just like, how many times? Because remember, we still got the ice cream dream to talk about. It's like, how many times am I supposed to have a rainbow palette from you and get excited about it? I just wasn't feeling this color story, and I didn't like the quality of this as opposed to the other three as much. So that's why it's as low as it is. Okay, so next collection, I'm just putting it together. This is Icy collection. If you all remember correctly, I said I wasn't crazy about this collection either, which is why it's lower down, even though it's one of the new ones that came out in 2022. But I like the red one just a tad bit more than I like the blue one. I don't know what it is about when they do monochromatic blue palettes, but I'm not crazy about them. Like, I don't know what it was about this one. I felt like it wasn't as good as some other palettes, but I didn't think it was as bad as like the other collections they came out with. Like, I didn't think it was as bad as the Hershey Kisses palette, but I didn't think it was that great either. So, but since I didn't think the red one was too much better than it, I didn't want to separate them, you know. So that's why I thought I'm gonna just put them together. But the red one I actually do like more than I like that one. I feel like, I think it's because I don't have as many red palettes in my collection. I was more excited about this one, and I wasn't as picky about it because I only have this one and what is it, the cherry on top from what was the people called, BH Cosmetics. So I'm like, I only have like 2 red palettes, and now I have the berries palette, which makes 3. But it's like, you gotta think, I only got 3 red palettes out of all the palettes I have in my collection. It's this one, that one, and the other one. So I think that's why I'm a little more excited and like this one a little bit better, just because I own so much blue till like blue is a higher standard for me, and it's like I feel like they didn't meet that higher standard I was looking for. So that's why this one is literally like right below this one. But I like both of them about the same, just this color story more than this color story. So that's how they got grouped together like that. Okay, so next, if y'all remember, I didn't like this palette when I first tried it either. This is the Michaela X Glamlite, the first one. So I don't want to hold it a certain way because the glitter's falling out of mine. Like the other lady's video I watched, like the plastic is coming out. So when the plastic comes out, then like, I mean, when the thing is breaking, that means all the glitter is coming out. So I'm gonna have to try to super glue that. I was supposed to do it before and I forgot, but I left it over here to film another video with. So that's why, I know, right? I had to say all that instead of just showing you the palette. But here's what she looks like if you haven't seen her before. I feel like this is like a pretty nice palette. It just has a whole bunch of like neutrals in here that I don't care about. Like if the first 2 rows got covered up, it was just like the last 3, I think I'd have been way more excited about this palette. But I just didn't feel like the quality of this was as good as her newer palette, which of course you know is going to be much higher up just based upon the color story alone if you know anything about me. So this one is where it is, but you know, it wasn't bad, and I have learned to adjust to and like it more now. Ooh, y'all, there's glitter all over my pants. I'm sure my palette ain't gonna have no glitter by the time I actually remember to glue it back together. Yeah, so the next 2 we have to talk about are the rest of the Hershey Kisses collection. So I have the Lava Cake and the Special Dark palettes. So I like these a little bit better. Like the color story of them a little bit better. I like the light to depth, and then the shimmers in here a little bit better. So that's why I picked these. Like this unique purple right here. This is so gorgeous to me. And this purple right here, these 2 purples right here are what make this palette for me. It's stunning. I wasn't necessarily crazy about the shimmers in here just because both of the shimmers are dark, and it's like I don't want a super dark vampy look. So I didn't like the fact they didn't give you a light shimmer to put in the inner corner. I feel like you should have one deep shimmer and then one light shimmer. So you have one deep shimmer to put on your lid always, if that's what you want to do. And then you have a lighter shimmer to put in the inner corner. I feel like it's what they call themselves trying to do. But because I feel like this is still pretty deep compared to the shades at the bottom that it's with, I feel like they should have put a lighter one in here. Maybe it's just me. But I wanted a lighter shimmer in this one. But I guess that's okay. And then they have 3 mattes and 3 shimmers in this one. So I think I was a little bit more excited about this one just because the shimmer to matte ratio was a little bit more equal. And then I still had like 2 lighter ones, like this cool iridescent one and then this shade right here. I would have preferred that they had just made this another matte because I don't really like this shimmer shade, but you know, it's there and you know, it's fine or whatever. But I like these two just a little bit more than I like the first one. I need to remember to put those back where they go because they have a video in mind for them. Next, I have the Ice Cream Dream palette. So you're probably shocked that this is so high up because if you watched the video on my channel, it had colors with deceiving color stories, and then I did a video talking about how I didn't like this palette when I first got it because they oxidized, which led to the palettes with deceiving color stories video. I need to make another one of those. I think I have. I don't remember, don't quote me. But I have grown to like this palette and found different ways of working with it to make me like it better. So that's why I got to be so much higher up, because it is a really nice color story. It was just more of I had to find my way with this one. It took a little while. Just like with the Michaela palette. That's why it was lower down too, because I still I have learned to like it. I don't love it though, and I want it from like a certain point on for them to be the ones I actually love. So after this one, it'll be all the ones I actually love and I would use regularly in my collection. But this one is still good and it's still nice, and it's an older one that still made it higher up on the list because of its color story and the fact that, you know, like I found my ways to work with it, because since the pastels and it oxidized, it actually works in my favor because of my skin tone. So it's just something I've had to learn to come to terms with and like somewhat be able to appreciate. But now let's get into, I think it's top 4, top 5. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're dropping palettes from there. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're at the top 5 now. So we got the rest of the Glamlite Happy Hour collection as number 5. So I'll show you. It's the chocolate martini. It's a fun, unique twist on a neutral palette. You got this fun bluish purplish shade here, and then you got like some nice orange and mauve-ish tones, so it didn't just make it a, you know, classic boring chocolate brown palette, which I could appreciate. So that's why I kind of like this one. It's kind of giving me the vibes of the pie palette, if you will, now I think about it. But it's too much. Well, I would say, is there too much stuff on top of the pie palette? I feel like it's kind of giving me pie palette vibes, just extended, if you will, without the like bright pink. But I feel like all the other colors it has, that the pie palette has, like that iridescent shade down there is purplish instead of blue, but it's definitely a better formula, and it's it doesn't have blush in it, because I know some people hate that and don't ever want to actually use that product. Though just something to keep in mind. And plus it might go on sale during National Pie Day, 50% off. She does that a lot. Next is wine. Wait, no, next was Dirty Martini, sorry. So this is what it looks like. To me, this is a good alternative if you don't want to spend the money on the Milk Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette. I felt like this was a good alternative. I don't know if I did a battle of them or not, but I know I showed them side by side just because I felt like they looked really similar and it could work out. So this is that one. And then we have the wine palette for real this time. So this is what she looks like on the inside. Simply stunning. Y'all know I love me a purple moment, and I love the uniqueness. Like, this purple is my favorite one out of this palette. I absolutely love it. So like I was saying, I feel like this palette is when their formula changed, and it changed for the better, and I simply love it. So this is when I was like, started really getting excited about them, because they came with the collection, it came with the beautiful colors, they just came with everything, and I was like, okay, I see you. Okay, so number 4 is going to be the Scooby-Doo collection. So yes, it actually got this high up, because if y'all remember in the video, I wasn't super excited about it. I mean, I still like the color stories and I still thought it was a good formula. It was just more of, I wasn't super impressed with it. I guess it's because by that time you got to think how many palettes that came out that looked like this. Like, this is Betty Jean's palette from like 2 years ago, and this is like the Bloom palette, and then like 2 or 3 other palettes that came out with similar color stories. So I think I was just more fatigued and just tired of everybody coming out with the same damn color story. So I was just like, oh girl. But like, once I use these more and more, I was like, oh, okay, like it's nice, it's good, it's, you know, once I wasn't so overwhelmed, basically, I was just like, okay, I can appreciate these more now. Now I still like this one better than this one, just because, like I said, I'll just use Betty Jean's palette. I don't really ever reach for this. I think of this color store, I just go get my, it's freaking Bats palette. But you know, that's just me. But you know, it's nice, and I just grouped it in with this one because I was like, why not? We just put them together. We have them both, you know, well, we like them both. It's just, you know, like, if I had to choose, I'm gonna choose Betty Jeans palette. Okay, so number 3 is the Frosted Flakes. I know, right? It's high up considering I don't like orange. If you know anything about me, you know I don't like the color orange. So the fact that I picked the orange Color Story palette, well, a good portion of orange, because like this whole row is orange. But I feel like the oranges and blues actually look nice together. I mean, I know they do. It's just not a color story that I necessarily like to put together. And a lot of times when I use this, I feel like I end up liking the look, but it's like I'm just not an orange and blue type of girl. So I rarely reach for this, but the formula on this one is amazing. This was when I truly saw the difference and was amazed by it. Because at first I thought people just over exaggerating. I'm like, oh yeah, they got it in PR. They think this is so wonderful and all the other stuff, whatever. But when I tried it myself, I was like, oh, okay, now I see what you mean. Because this is even better than the Happy Hour collection. And I think this was like the next big one she came out with that I actually bought. That I was amazed by the color story. Because I think the Hershey Kisses ones came out. And then I think this one came out after the Hershey Kisses, if I remember correctly. And then the Icy came out. And then this came out. And I think that's why I was eerie, because I wasn't that crazy about the Icy or the Hershey Kisses, if you all remember correctly. But then I got this and I was like, okay, now this is where the formula's at. This is the change of formula that, you know, everybody's talking about is wonderful, and I got. Because like those other two, I was like, I don't know. But this one, and the funny thing is, y'all know I wasn't even gonna get it. Like I ended up getting it because I think she had it 20 or 30% off. So I went ahead and bought it during the sale. And it's a great decision. I'm glad I made it. Second is the most recent one I just bought, so y'all should already know. It's the Strawberry Shortcake palette. You know, the one I told you didn't need or whatever. But I mean, I was honest. Y'all saw the title. I was like, so I lied. You know, my bad. I lied. Because the shimmer, and it smells like strawberries apparently. I feel like when I opened it the first time, I didn't smell it when I did on video. But anyway, I like the color story of this a whole lot. Obviously, or else I wouldn't already had a palette like it. But like the shimmers in here would stand out to me and make it wonderful. The mattes blend nicely. They look nicely. They're gorgeous. I'm not denying that. But what's made me decide that I lied and you did need this palette was the shimmers, honestly. Because the shifts in these shimmers are absolutely amazing and stunning. It's not so much that the formula of it is so amazing. It's just the color and the sparkle that you get out of it that makes this one so amazing to me. And I guess it came in perfect timing because Strawberry Milkshake isn't even on her site right now. I think it's only like the holiday palettes on her site. Nothing else is there. So I'm like, I don't know if Strawberry Milkshake is coming back. So this might be a good alternative to Strawberry Milkshake if it doesn't come back. If you already have Strawberry Milkshake, like I told you, I don't think you necessarily need this. But I will say the shimmers in this are the star of the show for me. Because you got to think I have all these other colors in that Strawberry Milkshake palette for the most part. And I did a side-by-side video comparing both of these coming soon. So you should, I don't know if you're going to see it before you see this. But the point is, you know, it's coming. So you get to see for yourself how you feel about each one. But yeah, so this is number 2 just because of the color story and the formula and the shimmers. Like I'm telling y'all, the shimmers is what did it for me and made me make that whole video about me lying and, you know, all that or whatever. So the last palette is number 1. I feel like you should know as loud as it is child. You can hear it from 30 miles away. This is a Glamlite X Michaela Part 2 palette. This is what it looks like. I mean, if you know me, looking at it says all that needs to be said. Looking at this says all that needs to be said. Look at it, girl. Look at it. I mean, this palette just says everything. It's blue, it's green, it's purple. It's giving everything. She didn't even really put too many of the neutrals in it this time. Although I feel like this row right here looks really similar to that like 10 pan palette she came out with. I feel like a lot of them are similar in that regard. So if you didn't want the 10 pan, excuse me, you just want the big one, you still got some neutrals. So she stuck a few neutrals in here. They're not as super neutral as like the first one was, which is I think another reason I wasn't as crazy about it, because it's like I wanted more of like this type of color story, and the second time around she gave it to us. So I'm here for it. It's a vibe. I absolutely love it, and I am glad to have it in my collection. So that completes me ranking all my Glamlite palettes. What did you think of my ranking? Do you agree? Do you not agree? You can comment down below and tell me how you feel about it. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.